I, 46, have 2 sons, 20 Andy and 18 Sam, from my previous marriage. I got divorced from their mother about 7 years ago and have been in my stepdaughter Emma's life for 6 years. I love her to death, and I see her as my own kid. Sam graduated back in June and was having a graduation party about a month later. But his party happened to be the same day as Emma's birthday party. She was really excited about her birthday and told me she wanted me to stay for her party. I said I'd try and call my son about it. The day before their parties, I told Sam I would try and stop by, but he kept insisting I come for the full thing. I told him I'd try, but Emma's birthday party is on the same day, and my wife and I have been planning it for over a month now. He just said okay and hung up the phone. Fast forward to the day of both parties. My wife said I should go to Sam's party. I was planning on doing so, but Emma told me she really wanted me to stay. I didn't want her to be sad at her party, so I agreed and told them I would just leave later. Emma's party was from 4 to 6 and Sam's was from 4:30 to 7:30, so I was thinking I had plenty of time. I live over an hour away from my son, so I was planning to leave early. Anyway, I was helping my wife with a lot of stuff, taking care of the kids, and other things. By then, it's already 6 p.m. and I feel bad. I have so many things to help my wife with for cleaning up, and since I live over an hour away, I know I can't make it. I did go to his graduation, so I assumed just going the day after to see him would be fine. Boy, was I wrong. I call him after that and he practically goes insane, telling me he's extremely angry, saying I love Emma more than my biological kid, and that I always forget about him. He then tells me he doesn't want me to come the next day and doesn't want me to talk to him. I haven't missed a lot of his events, so I feel like he's overreacting. I didn't go to his 18th birthday party because of a big meeting I had, and I get why he was mad about that, but this seems like an overreaction. I apologized to him, but he didn't accept it. My ex-wife and wife said I should have gone and that I was being an idiot. My oldest son says I always choose Emma over him, which is not true, and that I was being a horrible father. I do feel bad, but I lost track of time. He won't talk to me and neither will my oldest son. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. This is a pattern, and he's called you out on it. Your wife even encouraged you to do the right thing and you still ignored it. Minimizing his hurt as overreactions is very sad for him. He is obviously feeling rejected by you. Think carefully about the relationship you want to have with him, because continuing this pattern is like asking for him to reject you from his life in the future. Do you want him to introduce future sows to you, to be invited to his wedding, and have relationships with any future kids? Do you want to be a part of his successes? Because right now it doesn't seem like it, and it's hurting him. Own your behavior, apologize, and do better in the future. You prioritized work over your son on his 18th birthday, and then prioritized your stepdaughter over your son on his graduation party. That is TWO things you apparently consider more important than your son and his feelings. Also, your stepdaughter is 11. That means you have at least 7 more years with her in the house to attend her events. Sam, though, this was the very last of his childhood events that will ever happen, and you didn't even consider it important enough to go to. You were absolutely a horrible father to Sam, and it wasn't the first time. It does sound like he's done with you, though, so I guess there is consolation in the fact he will never give you the chance to hurt him again. You put Emma's feelings over your son's. If everyone in your family is saying you did the wrong thing, then you did the wrong thing. If your sons are saying you always choose Emma, then you have missed more and done more damage than what you've acknowledged, or perhaps you never realized. But it has happened and this is another to add to the pile. You will lose them both. I, 33, have been married to Mark, 37, for 3 years, together for 5. I'm currently pregnant with my first child, due in October. Mark has 2 children, 8, 9, from a previous marriage. He's kept things civil with Bio-Mom for the sake of the kids, but she is a very difficult person, not to mention not the most competent parent, so they're not exactly friends. She's also made some less than favorable comments to the kids about me and keeps referring to me as the new wife, though we've been together for a while. I've never had much contact with BioMom at all. Mark handles all the co-parenting responsibilities with her. I do, however, get along great with his kids and they have a bond with me. They're excited about the new baby. A few days ago, BioMom randomly asked Mark if she could talk to me. I agreed, so he put her on speaker and she says that now that there's going to be a new baby, we should start figuring out how to plan visitation around it. I ask what she means, and she just says, as if it's obvious, well, it's my kid's sibling, so they'll want to spend time with the baby at my house too. They would miss it. I'm immediately taken aback. I say that of course, they'll be spending time with the baby at our place. I ask why she thinks the baby would be at her house at all, and she matter-of-factly says, well, of course, I'm the baby's stepmother. Why wouldn't I get to spend time and bond with them? I'm completely baffled at this point and say, no, she's not the baby's stepmother. The baby has no stepmother because I'm the only one married to Mark, and that technically she is no relation to the baby. Mark agreed and told BioMom she was being inappropriate. Well, she basically flipped out and said I was being awful. All she wants to do is preserve our kids' family and be a good, healthy blended family together. Mind you, she and I barely had anything to do with each other in all the time I've been in her kids' lives, and that I was being selfish and controlling because my kid would be her kid's half-sibling too. I never denied that our kids would be half-siblings and therefore family. I just have no idea how she's worked out that she's my unborn kid's stepmother. My baby has no step-parents. Now she's upset and is threatening to refuse to let her kids come back to be with my husband. Ridiculous. There's a court order, until I acknowledge that this isn't just my baby, but belongs to our blended family unit. Mark is telling me to pay no mind, but I feel bad his kids will suffer because of this drama. Am I the idiot for not acknowledging her as my kid's family, even if it's just so that this won't hurt her kids? Not the idiot. What in the crazy did I just read? You and Mark need to sit the kids down and explain to them that their mom isn't related to the baby but they are their siblings. That their mom can't have the baby at her house. As with any new baby, the existing kids need to be included and reassured that they are still a top priority. If you do that, the BioMom won't be able to drive a wedge between you all. It sounds like she is just trying to interfere with yours and Mark's relationship. She wants to be a third party and have a say in your baby's life because you and Mark have a say in the other two kids' lives. Don't discuss this anymore with her, but if Mark does make it through text so he has proof if she refuses to follow the custody agreement. Not the idiot. Start a paper trail. Take notes and keep it filed away in a safe place in case you need to escalate to protect your family, including those step-kids. She should not be threatening to withhold the kids from their father in order to gain access to your baby. That's called extortion. You may not be able to revise the court-ordered agreement now, but you might make it easier in the future if she continues to be this unhinged. Not the idiot. That is really disturbing behavior and not something that you should ignore. If she ever says any of this in a way that you can save, voicemail, text, email, etc., make sure to save it. Reach out to your doctor and let them know that if anyone but you or your husband calls to ask for information about your pregnancy, to tell them no. That should be standard practice, but people can sometimes get conned into sharing info if the person calling is convincing enough. Do the same if you sign up for birthing classes. My wife grew up rough. She had a very hard time. Due to personal issues, her parents weren't in the picture. She was left to fend for herself. She was forced to do a lot of things against her will. Literally live in the back of gas stations or stores at the age of 16. She's had a lot of things that she had to get out of habit from, like going days without eating, days without showering, severe insomnia and jumpy at any loud sounds. She's working on those though. I am a rather wealthy person, upper middle class. My wife is the cutest but is so damn sad. She gets very excited at grocery stores because she is able to get any treat or food she wants. She gets super excited at things other people would dread. My brother is very spoiled. My parents struggled to parent him. They have in at any command, he said. He gets off the hook for everything. They couldn't deal with him, so they sent him with me. I set rules and consequences. He has to go donate anything he doesn't use or doesn't fit. He had to get a job, etc. This was fine. He was doing better. Lately my wife has been doing a lot of what I explained before. Jumpy, forgetting to eat, waking up at odd hours. This was weird. I came home from work and overheard my brother and my wife. My wife was asleep in the couch. My brother goes over and purposely bangs on the wall, making siren noises. I have informed my brother what he can't do regarding my wife. My wife jumped up, looking scared. I told my brother, who was surprised, to go to his room, which he did. This wasn't the first time he's did this according to my wife. She said he is shaking her in her sleep, or stealing whatever food she was eating. She said he has been throwing away all her soaps and washes too. I was baffled. 1, I didn't know about this. 2, my brother. He's 18. He's old enough to know better. I talked to my brother and he said that he was just messing with her, and that this was probably good so she can get over whatever weird fears she has. He proceeded to say that the way she had it wasn't that bad, and she practically got money for free. So, I took his stuff, put it in big plastic bags, and set them on the driveway and told him to get out. He was taken back and asked if I was just going to leave him out there in the heat. It was 76. He said just because she was broke doesn't mean I have to treat him like a hobo. I took him outside and locked the door. He was banging on the door for a few. Called my parents and told them he can't stay here. They are about 3 hours drive away. I even gave the kid water. When my parents got here they were pissed. They said that he was rude but I was ridiculous for such a harsh punishment and he could have been kidnapped or passed out. He's 200 pounds, seated in a gated community. I don't feel bad. I think this taught him to stop taking things for granted. But they don't think so. Not the idiot. You showed a lot of restraint just kicking him out. You could have called the police on him for petty theft at least for stealing your wife's things. Your parents are idiots for blaming you when they couldn't deal with your brother either. He's 18 years old. No one is responsible for his action but him. If he had done that to someone I love, I would have driven him a couple towns away and left him at a gas station without his wallet or phone. Let him have a couple hours of not knowing where to go or how to pay for his next meal. Your wife has CPTSD. I hope she's in therapy. Please don't ever let your brother into your house again, and keep him away from your wife at family events. He sounds like he tried to punish her for telling on how he was abusing her. And make no mistake, waking her up at random, stealing her food and possessions, triggering her panic attacks, that's all abuse. First of all, nobody is kidnapping idiot 18-year-olds. How ridiculous. Your parents think he's still a baby, I guess. And he's sick for what he was doing. Just absolutely repulsive behavior. You did the right thing. Thank you for standing up for your wife, that's honestly really beautiful. It's obvious you love her a lot and I'm so glad she has you in her life. You're not the idiot and he's 18. Time to figure out the real world like most everyone else has to. Your brother needs to get out and leave. He is harassing and abusing your wife whether you like it or not. It is abusive for what he is doing. I would have screamed at my parents for raising such a jerk guy. This is your wife's home, not your brother's or parents'. They have no say and I would tell him if he comes back or the parents try to bring him back the cops will be called. Not the idiot. I, 36, and my wife, 32, have 3 kids. 2 are adopted, 7 and 7, and 1 is our biological kid, 5. I work in family medicine and have my own clinic and my wife is a SAHM. I go to the gym every morning from 4 to 5 a.m., then take our 2 dogs for a walk at 5:30 am, feed the dogs, cook breakfast and wash dishes. I go to the clinic at around 8 a.m. and come home at 8 p.m. I then cook dinner and wash dishes while my wife puts the kids to bed. I mow the garden and clean the bathrooms too. I usually buy groceries while coming home from work. My wife homeschools the kids, cleans the house, cooks lunch and brings it to my clinic, washes dishes in the afternoon, laundry, pays bills, taking the dogs for evening walk, feeding the dogs and all the other work at home. Yesterday, my wife said she wanted to cook breakfast for me and the kids as it was a Sunday and we were all free. I did my usual routine of gym, took the kids and dogs to the park and then fed the dogs. I also gave my car to the mechanic. By the time all this was done, it was almost 9:00 a.m. The kids were starting to get hungry and so was I. I went to the kitchen to check what my wife was doing. She had apparently not started cooking yet because her childhood friends had called her. So I asked her if I should make breakfast. She said that she'd be coming in few minutes. Half an hour later, she was still on call, so I cut up fruits for the kids to snack on while I made some chocolate waffles, bacon and eggs. Also a glass of milk for each of the kids and a cup of coffee for myself. When my wife got off call, it was 12:30 p.m. The kids and I were watching Hotel Transylvania and eating popcorn, candy, chicken nuggets, and pizza. She got mad at me when she saw the food in the kitchen. She asked me to come to our bedroom. Then she started saying that I was very disrespectful by cooking breakfast despite her having told me already that she wanted to cook today. I told her she can still cook lunch, but she said that the kids were eating junk food now and they won't be hungry until at least 3 p.m. She refused to eat breakfast and said she's going with her sister for sushi. Before going, she told me, "Since you don't need me to cook, you can make lunch and dinner too." Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I am curious though how talking on the phone stops her making breakfast. I have carried on many conversations on the phone while cooking. Sure, you occasionally have to put the phone down to deal with a hot pot, but you can put the other person on speakerphone or ask them to hold on a minute. 3 hours doing nothing towards making breakfast for hungry kids is ridiculous. So, is she saying you literally should have forced the kids to not eat anything until at least 1 p.m., which would have been the earliest time she could have plated breakfast for them? She called you disrespectful when she ignores her entire family for hours. Tell her to get over it. Had you not fed them and told them go ask mom, she's in charge of breakfast today, while you sat with a newspaper, coffee, and your feet up, and they started pestering her while she was on the phone, are you supposed to believe your wife would then be thanking you for doing that? That's kind of what she's suggesting. She's being a passive-aggressive idiot because she knows she was absent that morning. Not the idiot. What were your kids supposed to do? Starve? What a strange thing to get twisted about. I'm wondering if she's feeling like you implied she was neglecting the kids. I mean, in a way she was, or something. Just feels like this can't be the only thing to set her off. Such an overreaction.